everyone. Today I, Vineet, and my co-anchors Vidushi and Vidhi, on the behalf of Diligentia, the entrepreneurship cell of our college, welcome you all to our 3-day event from startup to funding, a Shark Tank series. We thank you for taking your time out and being here today. It takes a wise person to learn from the experience, but an even wiser person to learn from the experience of others. This 3-day event is a lifetime opportunity to learn from the people standing at the position you aspire to be. Also, there would be a feedback form provided by the end of every session, which you have to mandatory fill down and join on all 3 days. Then only you will be availed a certificate. Here in this event, we will be getting insights and having a one-on-one conversation with 3 startup founders spread across 3 days. Shark Tank. I bet you would be living under a rock if you haven't heard of this show in the past 2 months. It is a fascinating, hilarious, and engrossing show about entrepreneurship, something beyond entertainment and with the crisp of knowledge and innovation, where one of the top budding entrepreneurs from whole country come and pitch their business ideas to seek investment. It won't be wrong to say that only the most potential and diligent ideas get investment. With that said, today we have one of those entrepreneurs with us. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Riya Khattar. Riya Khattar ma'am is the founder of Heart Up My Sleeves, a trendy fashion label that makes detachable statement sleeves. With funding from two sharks, Vinita and Anupam, she aims to grow a minimalistic and sustainable fashion brand. Miss Riya is going to talk us about the blend of two most trendy topics, fashion and entrepreneurship. This is a subject in which we all are deeply interested because it's by all manners unavoidable and is all around us. I am a person of belief that everyone has questions and deserve to be answered. They also help audience integrate the speaker's ideas. Hence, we took the most asked questions and most unique questions today with us. But before proceeding to the session, I would like to invite our principal, Dr. Krishna Sharma ma'am, to address the session. Please, ma'am.
Thank you very much for inviting me. 3 days का जो ये एंटरप्रेन्योर सेल ने सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स किया है उसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहती हूँ. फ्रॉम स्टार्टअप टू फंडिंग अपने आप में इतना इंटरेस्टिंग है. और जो अभी बता रहे थे कि हमारे साथ कितने ऐसे लोगों को हम लोग जोड़ रहे हैं जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को, हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को एनकरेज करेंगे. और इस तरह के जो आयोजन हमारा एंटरप्रेन्योर सेल कर रहा है उससे हमारे सभी छात्रों छात्राओं को इसका लाभ मिलेगा और आगे हम इस दिशा में अपने स्टूडेंट्स को और गाइड कर पाएंगे. और इन लोगों के जो व्यूज हैं, जो इन लोगों के एक्सपीरियंस हैं, वो सभी हमारे सभी स्टूडेंट्स को उसका लाभ मिलेगा, ऐसी मेरी आशा है. मैं कॉलेज की ओर से और पूरे एंटरप्रेन्योर सेल के जितने भी लोग हैं, रजनी है, उर्वशी है, इन सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई देती हूँ. मेरी शुभकामनाएं हैं कि इस तरह के कार्यक्रमों के द्वारा हम अपने कॉलेज को एक नई दिशा हमें मिलेगी. क्योंकि अभी तक जितने हमारे प्रोग्राम्स हुए हैं उसमें हमने सीखा है कि किस तरह से हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को एनकरेज कर सकते हैं आगे लाइफ में कुछ करने के लिए. क्योंकि हमारा केवल स्टूडेंट्स को ये गाइड करना हमारा उद्देश्य नहीं होता है कि आप अपने अपने एजुकेशन से आप क्या क्या फायदे उठा सकते हैं, उसके अतिरिक्त भी हमारे स्टूडेंट्स क्या कर सकते हैं. तो उस दिशा की ओर ले जाने में इस तरह के कार्यक्रम जो है, इस तरह के प्रोग्राम्स जो है हेल्प करेंगे स्टूडेंट्स को. तो इसी आशा को और इसी उद्देश्य को, इसी लक्ष्य को लेकर हम लोग चल रहे हैं. और उसमें आप सब लोगों की जो मेहनत है, पूरे हमारे सेल की, पूरे हमारी सोसाइटीज की जो मेहनत है, वो एक दिन हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत ही बेटर पर्सनैलिटी उनकी होगी, बेटर जॉब्स मिलेंगे और उनकी जो दिशा और दशा जो बदलेगी, उसी सब के लिए मैं आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ, बधाई देती हूँ कि इस तरह के प्रोग्राम जो है आगे आप कराते रहे और हमारे स्टूडेंट इसका लाभ लेते रहे. थैंक यू, धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much for your kind words, ma'am. So without any further ado, I extend a very, very warm welcome to Ms. Riya Khattar. Thank you for being here with us, ma'am. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me here. honestly,
हाँ, रिया जी, सबसे पहले मैं आपका वेलकम करती हूँ अपने कॉलेज में। तो मैं अपनी ओर से आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ GDAV कॉलेज की ओर से। हाँ, आगे आप स्टार्ट करें। हाँ।
Yes, so firstly, I'll just give a quick introduction of myself as well. So my name is Riya Khattar and I'm the founder of Heart Up My Sleeves. Heart Up My Sleeves is a unique brand that creates detachable sleeves and accessories that you can easily pair up with any of your outfits. So recently we went for Shark Tank India and we've got funding from 2 sharks there. One is Anupam Mittal from Shadi.com and the other is Vinita Singh from Sugar Cosmetics. So we're so glad to have for you guys to have me here. It's honestly an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
So shall we begin with the questions?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so we would like to begin with the beginning of Heart Up Your Sleeves. What challenges did you face during the initial stages of setting up a business, specifically in the fashion industry?
Okay, so well, the world is evolving and so is fashion, right? And the unique brand idea that I created was pretty unique, and no brand was focusing on making only detachable sleeves or accessories, right? So, and we as a brand focused more on being sustainable and making people realize the value of the product that it holds. So every business that starts out faces some struggles, and there were many challenges that we faced initially in setting up the business, specifically due to COVID. The whole market was upside down. So there were very limited labor available in the market, that too at a very high rate. Plus the raw material was very difficult to source. Right. Moreover, since our product was very unique, it was very difficult to predict the market response that we were going to get for our products, right? And it was a new concept, but that's how entrepreneurship also work. You have to test and try and just hope that it falls out in the right hands and it turns out to be good.
Yeah, you mentioned creating a unique product. I think that's a very fascinating situation in general. Would you say producing a product that hasn't been produced in the market before has more pros than cons? Because on one side, you have no competition at all, but on the other side, you're introducing a brand new product to the consumer base. So what are your views on that?
Well, introducing a new product in the market definitely has its pros and cons. And I think the key is to really understand the requirement of your audience as well. And I think it's very important to make your audience and customers realize the potential of the product, what value it holds, and what problem it's solving. The major concern would be the problem that it solves. So I think all the creations revolve around a problem that is being solved, and that is what I was also aiming for. So it actually creates a culture of innovation. So new ideas help to create new products, whereas new products help to create new revenues, right? And being the only brand focusing on a particular product in this space was definitely advantageous, I would say. Whereas making people trust the brand and the product requires constant effort, right? So it's an ongoing process for that. So you daily have to work and gain trust of your customers. But I think the only advice that I would give would be that if you have a unique idea or proposition that you have in your mind, you should be evaluating all your pros and cons, and do not be afraid to try. Definitely do not be afraid.
Also, ma'am, as you know that a team builds a company and a team is a very integral part of any business. So what would you say is the secret to recruiting the correct team for your business?
Well, I would say that there is no secret as per se, but we're still expanding our team. And I believe that quality over quantity goes both for our team as well as our products. And it honestly takes the right set of people to build the team, right? Who really understand your brand value, who connect with your brand, who knows that what values that you hold as a brand. And at the end of the day, I think The whole purpose is to satisfy the whole customer experience, right? So a person who understands all of these things would be a right fit for the brand, right? And honestly, I look at people who treat the brand like a baby, because I have treated the brand like a baby. So I would expect the other person who's also working with me, to treat them as a baby and work and give their 100%, right? And also because I come from a recruitment background, I'm actually working at Michael Page as an associate consultant. So I hold that kind of knowledge and expertise within that space as well. So it really, really, helps me and gives me a push to understand people better.
So, ma'am, since social media plays a vital role in marketing for businesses, especially during the pandemic time, could you share some uncommon tips and tricks on how to expand your Instagram reach and the correct way of reaching out to influencers for marketing?
Well, I think social media is something that, is an advantage to our generation, right? And I think it's very important, firstly, to understand your product and your market, and specifically your target audience, right? Once you figure that out, I think expanding your social media shouldn't be an issue. I think the only opinion that I would give in this regard, if you want to reach out to influencers, best way to do that would be through email marketing. Other than that, I think a lot of people, I think myself, I've tested and tried that. I have always DM'd a lot of influencers, and I used to set a time that from 4 to 6 I am only going to message these particular people, and every day at that time I used to message them. So when I started out, I didn't even know if I was going to get a response, but I diligently just kept on doing that. And slowly and steadily, when one person replied, and I was so happy about it, I was like, wow, I've actually gotten a reply for this. So I actually sent out my product to them, and people saw it, and then they started responding to my messages. So I think key is to be consistent, do not give up, but of course be also practical and target the right kind of audience that you want to reach out to. So if you're a food brand, so you probably would want to reach out to food bloggers, right? So as I am running a fashion brand, I'd ideally want to reach out to people who are into styling or fashion products, right? So of course, discover that, study the market. A lot of people have different niches as well, so study that accordingly, and then only decide what you want to do each day. So I think that really works well.
Yeah, I mean, digital marketing sure does sound like a big roller coaster of a ride. You get responses, you become ecstatic, you don't, and it's a big disappointment. Who was the first person that you reached out to, like an influencer, and they responded back?
So I think the first person was a couple of people. The first person to post was actually Nikki Mehra, and that video actually went viral. And I still remember I was having dinner at that point of time, and I just saw my phone and it just kept on ringing, and I was so shocked at that point of time. I was like, I don't even know what's happening to my phone. It's just not stopping. And then I realized the power of social media. This influencer just posted a reel with my sleeves, and people went mad. Like, they just kept on pinging me and messaging me and telling me that I want to buy these sleeves. So I think that's the power of social media, and you shouldn't take it for granted. It could be advantageous, but it could also give you a downfall. So you really need to be careful with what you do on social media.
Right, that's on point. Do you think your relationship with social media has changed ever since you started a brand on Instagram, on social media? Do you think it has changed at all?
Well, I think people who do have brands, they honestly, their life revolves around social media. So if one thing is trending, I just keep on having these ideas, and people who I work with, I just keep on suggesting that, okay, now we need to do something different, something creative. So you need to be very, very creative in this field. People on social media, they want to look at something new every day. If you keep on posting the same thing again and again every day, people will get bored. So they need something new each and every day, and you need to understand what your audience needs. So if your audience is comfortable and is giving a response on that consistency, you focus on that. But if your audience wants something unique and creative every and each day, then you focus on that. So you really need to understand and analyze your audience.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So finally getting to the hot topic of the day, what we all have been waiting to hear about, Shark Tank. Please start by telling us how you prepared for your Shark Tank pitch and all that went into it.
So, well, I think the entrepreneurs that came at Shark Tank, they were so well versed with each of their products and their brands. I think the only key would be that you just need to believe in your product, your vision that you have for your brand, and the value that you hold, and also the problem that you're solving. I think the only key to this is the problem that you're solving. And I'm just going to focus on that, because if your product or your brand is not solving any problem, then it's a waste and people will not buy it. Let me tell you that. So you need to focus on that. You need to build a product or build an idea, build a brand that is doing something maybe better than what the previous person was doing, or maybe build something that nobody is solving right now, a problem that's not nobody is solving. So right, that really helped me. I think it really helped me gain confidence in my product, because I knew that my brand was only focusing on a limited number of things, and I knew that nobody was doing that, right? So it really gave me that kind of boost as well. And I think apart from that, the whole team of Shark Tank India was very, very supportive. So I think the whole process was very smooth, and it was honestly a great experience, because I got to meet so many different and new people who were equally talented across the globe. So it was honestly amazing.
Definitely, ma'am. So when it comes to Shark Tank, so many people see Shark as mentors rather than investors, right?
Correct.
So how would you say have things changed ever since you received funding from the Sharks? What were the key advices from them, and what contribution have they made to the business post the episode?
Okay. So actually, let me tell you how funding actually works. It takes a little time to, of course, all these things to take place. So that is still in process, but we're definitely in constant touch with Vinita and Anupam. And honestly, it has been amazing since the episode was aired. I think my phone has just hasn't stopped ringing. So that is the kind of impact that our brand has had, and not only my brand as per se, but of course each and everybody who was aired. I think that is the kind of impact of social media and as well as television, right? And apart from that, I think I know that Anupam and Vinita, I'm so glad to have them on board firstly, but they both are extremely talented and they're well versed. They have the right kind of expertise, the right kind of knowledge, and the kind of experience that we require. And I am sure and I'm definite that with the right kind of networks that they have, we can take this brand ahead. So I'm very, very, very optimistic about this journey. But I don't want to reveal too many things about the back-end processes. But yes, it's in process, and you'll definitely see this brand big very, very soon.
Definitely, ma'am. That's what we wish for. I was just very curious about this, that so many people say that sharks just invest in your business and then forget about your business, right? So what would you say, are they still in touch with you? They keep on mentoring you or anything like that?
So of course, that is definitely not true. I think this is the first time that India has seen something like this come up. So it's definitely a different experience, but I would not say that they're not invested in your business if you, of course, give them that kind of equity and understand the kind of value that they bring on board. I think with me, it's been amazing. I have been supported by Anupam and Vinita throughout the journey. They keep on posting and sharing about my journey as well as on their social media, right? So there's a constant connect on that, as well as we're constantly connecting back in for our papers and stuff. So that's still there, and it's, I think, within a month or so that would be done, and we'll finally have them on board. So I am honestly so thrilled, and a lot of people have also completed that process with their sharks. So it has been going amazing for them as well. And definitely I would say that the kind of value that these sharks bring on board is tremendous. And honestly, that couldn't have happened if I didn't go there. So that's definitely an advantage.
Since you have got such experienced sharks on board with you, what is the one piece of advice you have received from the sharks that changed the way you go about being an entrepreneur? Not just related to the heart up your sleeves, but how did your mentality change, or the maturity you have got from the past?
I think I don't know if you guys have watched the episode, but I think Ashni said one thing that even Manish Malhotra's designs get copied, right? Which is true. I mean, he was saying the hard truth, right? It is true. I mean, his designs also do get copied, right? So I am honestly, after understanding how competitive this market is, and soon after we got aired, we have been copied quite a few times on social media. That's already started happening. So I'm pretty honestly, I am optimistic about it. I think competition is healthy, but you need to be very, very wise and honestly have the upper hand, right? Because now that we know that we were first in the market, so we have that kind of edge over everybody else, and we need to maintain that and be consistent in that. But that kind of competition is healthy. So I think my take on that would be, do not be afraid of competition, and just be confident in what you bring to the table as well. If you lose hope and if you lose confidence in your product, then there is just nothing ahead of you, honestly. So you need to be very, very confident of your product, and that's the way to go. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs that have come on stage as well, they were so passionate and confident about their products that the judges became fan of theirs, right? So you need to have that kind of passion as well for your product, I would say.
So do you have the same sort of attitude towards, you said, as people, there are institutions and people that are copying your product. So you have the same sort of attitude towards them? You see them as competition, or how do you view them?
So of course, I mean, anybody, if you are running a business, you have to keep all these things in evaluation, right? If some other person comes up the next day producing the same design as yours, right? So you have to keep that in evaluation. I would obviously consider them as a competition, even if they don't have that many followers, or even if they're not that well known. But I would still keep that in mind, because I know that they are by competition. One day if they produce something which is better than my brand, I need to keep all these things in consideration, right?
Ma'am, so
And that is,
sustaining, yeah, sorry.
yeah, no, so I was just saying that is true for every and each industry, right? So across industries this is specific, and you need to actually be aware what's going on in the market. So that's crucial.
Right. So, ma'am, like sustaining through this competition, what we should do, like just, keep brainstorming and coming up with new products or ideas, or is there something else you prefer along with launching new products?
So I think each and every business is different. Every brand focuses on something unique, because see, in fashion, it keeps on evolving, right? So you need to give out new products, or maybe if you're into specifically into wholesale, then you need to focus on a little bit of other side of things. But it honestly depends on your products. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there is anything specific to any kind of industry. It honestly depends on what you study and how well the audience is responding to your product. So you really need to cater and monitor all your responses, and then decide what works best for you.
And I was really curious, what gave you the final push to go into Shark Tank India and apply for it? Or was it something that you always knew, that when you got to know that Shark Tank, which was launching in India, you knew that you had to go on there? Or was it like you had to find motivation to go on?
Honestly, I wasn't sure. Even when I went for the shooting, I wasn't sure if I was gonna get aired. And so that's how actually they had reached out to us, the Shark Tank people. They thought the idea was very unique, And we had given a couple of interviews with them for that as well. But when I got the final call to actually come to Mumbai, I was honestly in shock, and I honestly didn't know how to react at that point of time. I couldn't believe it, but I thought, why not give this a chance? And you never know what would turn out, right? So I went there, I prepared for my pitch, and when I actually went in front of the sharks, it was honestly a different experience altogether. I think the kind of advices that I received from them and the kind of expertise that they hold, it's truly amazing. Apart from that, I think I got to meet so many people out there who were doing something unique and different, right? I'm not sure if everybody's going to get aired, but there were such amazing people out there. Even in the initial interview stage, a lot of college kids had come out to pitch their app ideas and stuff. So it was very cool to see people ranging from a 13-year-old to a 70-year-old pitching their ideas. So entrepreneurs in India, it's a new wave, I must tell you. I mean, there is no age limit to that. So it was honestly amazing to be there.
So pivoting from the topic a little bit, what are your views on sustainability in fashion? How important do you think it is to create clothes that are sustainable in today's world?
So I think sustainability is the key for any fashion product that is coming in the market in today's time. And I personally am very passionate about women's fashion, and I wanted to do something and create something unique. So during the pandemic, I learned how fashion should be a part of the sustainable lifestyle. And that's when, I focused everything on this product, right? So these statement sleeves and these accessories, they really allow you to, make your outfits, be worn again, but without feeling like you're repeating them. So that's the advantage that, our brand also holds.
So ma'am, as you mentioned pandemic, so we all know that during pandemic, majority of things went online and everyone has to buy things online. This could be the reason for ease of purchasing things also. But when it comes to online shopping platforms, there are so many, plenty of them. Do you have any advice for securing a place on a big platform like Nykaa Fashion? How was that journey?
Okay, so I will actually tell you there is a story behind this, and so I believe there was lockdown going on at this point of time, and there were a lot of sessions that were happening on Clubhouse, right? So a lot of celebrities and influencers, they used to conduct these sessions over there. So luckily, I actually entered a room where Advaita Nair, she is the CEO of Nykaa Fashion. So she was talking about sustainability and how it's important, and how they're planning to, get more brands on board on Nykaa Fashion, which brands that are sustainable, right? And my brand typically focuses on that, right? So instantly after hearing her motivational speech, I decided that, I'll drop her a message on Instagram and just see if she replies. And I honestly didn't know if she was ever going to reply, but I had to try out, and we as a brand had just discovered then. So I thought, let's just try and just drop her a message and just see if she replies. So like after 5-6 days, I actually got a reply from her saying that she found the product to be quite interesting, and then she shared her details, and then we connected. So that's how Nykaa Fashion happened for Heart of My Sleeves. So I think the only advice that I would give, a lot of e-commerce platforms, they don't take all the brands, but a lot of e-commerce platforms also take all the brands, right? So you need to have that kind of knowledge, and also reach out and do networking. I think networking is the key for any business. If you know that you're doing the right kind of networking, you're good to go. So I think I would suggest all of you to like connect with all the CEOs and everybody from all the companies on LinkedIn, so that you have them on LinkedIn and you can reach out to them whenever you want. That's a very good way to build connections.
Ma'am, talking about LinkedIn, we are mostly like, whenever we pitch, we are mostly like, okay, we are not going to get a response. Like, barely we can get this motivated for pitching, like basically for a week. After that, we are all demotivated. We think that cold calling, cold emailing, it doesn't really work. So what was your way? Like, how did you structure out everything? How did you plan out and manage to get through it?
So as I mentioned, I mean, that is a part of the process to, reach that kind of success as well. You have to try, you don't have to give up. That's the kind of attitude that you need to also have. If you're, like I said, I actually used to set time for myself, like 4 to 6, I'm just going to mail these bloggers. 2 to 3, I'm just going to like send them messages on Insta. This time I'm going to mail the stylist. This time I'm going to reach out to the celebrities. So this is how I segregated my time at the beginning. Right. So for your product and for your niche, you need to decide what you need to do. And trust me, if you're going to send out 100 messages, you're going to get 1 reply. And if you're going to do that process every day, ek to reply aayega na, like you're going to get 1 reply, right? So that's the kind of hope that you also have to keep in your mind and keep going.
Okay, so moving forward, this is my personal favorite question. Knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently than when you were first starting out?
So definitely not. I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think the journey that I've had so far has been wonderful, and I wouldn't want to change it, even though, there was COVID and a lot of downfalls were there due to COVID, but it has led me to where I am today. And it has honestly been a learning journey. And I know that for the longest time, it's going to be a learning journey for me because I have so many things to learn in my lifetime. And I don't think even when I'm like a 50 plus, I'm going to stop learning. Right. So you need to have that kind of mindset as well. If you're around people, you need to grasp things from them and have the right kind of mindset as well. Right. So in terms of changing anything, I wouldn't want to change anything. I'm pretty happy where I am.
Yeah, and we all have our off days though, and days on which we don't feel fully confident in ourselves and our decisions and our abilities. So, as a confident person, clearly, how do you manage yourself on those days where we're full of doubt?
So I think everybody has feelings of doubts, like you rightly said. But when I started out, I did not know what would be people's response to my product. So that was like a crucial factor to, where I am today. When I started out, nobody knew about the product, right? So I had to be patient about it. I had to be, had to stay put and just see how that turns out to be. And only because I was so passionate and confident about the product, I didn't give up. Right. So that's what kept me going. And even if I have small doubts that are like on a day-to-day basis, I think I reach out for help. I'm not afraid to ask for help and ask help from the right kind of people who can help me in that particular domain or space. Right. So I think being an entrepreneur is a learning journey, as I mentioned, and I get to learn something new each and every day, whether it is from my family, friends, or people around me, or people who are working with me. It's honestly tremendous. And I even if I have doubts, I think I have the right kind of support that I need for it.
Ma'am, at this age, we are not able to prioritize our stuff. Like, we are very bad at prioritizing what we should actually. How did you plan out that? Your studies, Michael Page, Heart Up My Sleeves, the entire team management.
So I think with Michael Page, when I started out Heart Up My Sleeve, that's when I got a job at Michael Page as well. Right. So it was quite hectic, I would say, because, initially the brand requires a lot of support, but I had my sister and my family, which were, a big support in this as well. So I must say that I just did not have any time off since last year. I think I'm constantly working throughout the day and even on the weekends, but I kind of like the thrill. So I've always had the zest and zeal to give my 100% at something. But I think balancing is important if, of course, you're managing both the things. So I actually segregate that within my day as well. So if I'm working from 9 to 7 with Michael Page, I take a 1 hour break, and from 8 to like 2, I'm working only at out of my sleeves. Right. So I plan my day. So I think planning is crucial for how you want to achieve your goals. I actually jot down all the things that I need to do on this particular day, and that really helps me in completing what I have to do on that particular day. So I think planning is crucial for everything, even with studies. I think even with studies back in college, I used to plan everything. Okay, this day I'm gonna like do this chapter at least, right? So that's how you plan, and I think it's important.
Definitely, ma'am. I feel time management and planning is a skill in itself. But I would like to ask that life is full of ups and downs, right? And some people even say that you need to have failures and challenges even to rise up in your business and ideas. So, what risk and challenges you yourself faced during starting up your business, especially when it comes to starting your business in pandemic?
Sure. So I think when I started out, as I mentioned, my product was very unique. So I honestly didn't know what kind of response would I be getting from the audience, right? So I actually had to be patient about it, and I had to see how people respond to my product. Once I got to know that, people are responding, they are liking the product, and then COVID struck. And in terms of fabric sourcing and getting the right kind of labor at that kind of cost, it was pretty difficult initially, right? Because but I think it's not only me. A lot of companies have faced that kind of challenge during COVID. I think a lot of startups that also started during that time had that similar kind of challenges, right? So startups, I think they play a key role in terms of job creation as well. So that kind of went missing during the pandemic, right? But now I think people are realizing and understanding the value of a startup, specifically after Shark Tank India. I think people are getting motivated, and they are understanding, how startups also run, and what kind of ideas and products can solve that kind of problem in the market.
You mentioned time management and segregating your time throughout the day to, be a full-blown entrepreneur and also an associate consultant at a big firm. Were you always like this, or was this like a trial and error process that you learned through high school, through college?
So I think I've always enjoyed being under pressure. I think it honestly gives me the thrill, and I'm able to perform like 10 times better. I don't know if that's true for everybody around here, but like for me, it's actually true. When I'm under pressure, if I have 1 hour, I need to do this, I perform like 10 times better if I have like 6 hours to do it. So that's the kind of motivation also that keeps me going on a daily basis. I honestly don't take breaks, and I kind of like it. I mean, I kind of like that I'm working from 9 to till like 2 a.m. at night, but that's the kind of work that I need to do if I want to reach heights, right? And I'm motivated to do that. So I'm pretty happy with where I am.
Right. I think there was like an Elon Musk quote also regarding this, where he said, and I'm paraphrasing over here, where he said that if you give yourself 3 hours to do something, it's going to take you 3 hours. And if you give yourself 30 days to do something, the same work, it's going to take you 30 days. So that makes a lot of sense. For sure. I can vouch for my friends and me. We're still in the process of learning the time management thing for sure. But hopefully we'll get where you are one day. And I mentioned high
Definitely.
school, and yeah, I mentioned high school and college, and that made me think that you're not very far away from our age, are you? Like, you're still
No.
very young. So like, are there more pros than, are there any cons at all to achieving so much at such a young age? Or is it as rainbows and
Honestly,
sunshines as it looks?
honestly, I think it's just luck, hard work, and perseverance. I would say when I started this brand out, as I mentioned, I didn't know if it's gonna like go viral or if it's gonna be a flop altogether, right? But it turned out to be so great, and I'm sure that a lot of people here who have that kind of motivation to start something, or have already started something, maybe a thrift store, or maybe you're a blogger already. But that's also the kind of investment and a startup in itself, right? If you're putting all your time and effort in creating content, so that's a startup in itself. And if you're making money out of it, then why not, right? So that's the kind of motivation that you need. And honestly, I'm not that old, I'm just 24, so I can definitely relate with you guys as well. But I don't think I've reached the highest potential that I can. I have a long way to go. And I hope that I keep on saying that every time I meet you guys, that I have a long way to go, because I don't want to be stable. I don't want to be stable, and I want to keep growing. And I wish all of you also have that kind of mindset, that you want to learn and you want to keep growing every day.
So ma'am, as in fashion industry, customer experience matters a lot, right? So what are your views customer experience, and how much does it really matters in one's business, especially when it comes to fashion industry?
So I think understanding what your customer wants is very crucial. You have to interact with your customers. I think in the beginning, when we started out, and even now, we do interact with our customers on a daily basis. We understand what kind of products that they need, what kind of new products that they would be interested in, right? So that kind of eagerness to learn about your customers is also very important. And it's not only specific to a specific industry, right? That's I think it's very generic. You should be doing that for any and each product that you launch in the market, right? To understand what the customers want, and accordingly, like work on your brand, right? So that because at the end of the day, it's the customers that you're serving, right? So you need to make them happy, and you need to understand what makes them happy. That's the key.
Ma'am, your designs are really beautiful, but still I had this question that did you ever got some harsh feedbacks from customers, or how did you deal with that?
So honestly, till date, I haven't received any harsh feedback from any customers. And I think the only thing that I have realized, that when I launched the product, people, I didn't know that how people were going to style it in their own unique way, right? So that's the tagline that we also send out, and also promote that, explore your creativity with the product, right? So we actually got to see that with so many people out there. They started styling the sleeves on their legs as well. So very different and unique ways that they started using the sleeves altogether. So that really helped me motivate myself more. And I knew that I was changing lives and making people happier. So that's what kept me going.
Ma'am, were you expecting such kind of styling with your product? Like, did
It
you had
wasn't
in mind?
No, actually, I didn't. And when I saw that, I was so glad, and I was so happy that, people are experimenting with the product, and they're just, having fun with it. And that actually made me so happy. And I kept on motivating all my other customers to, okay, you can style it like that, you can wear it like that. And then I used to like consult them and, tell them, okay, this person has styled it like this, maybe you can also style it. So that's how it went. But it was honestly amazing and surprising for me as well.
Perfect.
Ma'am, do you have any advice? Although you gave a lot of advice and little sprinkles of wisdom all throughout the webinar, but do you have any specific advice for all the budding entrepreneurs that are here with us today?
So I think I would say that don't be afraid, and believe in yourself and your idea. And most importantly, like I'm mentioning again, solve a problem. So your brand or your idea should have a purpose to resolve something which hasn't been resolved, or maybe do it in a better way, right? And honestly, it's never too late to start. People, they become entrepreneurs when they're like 50 or 60 as well, right? So if you are solving a problem that is beneficial, now is the time to start. So set a high bar and be desperate to reach your goals. And I think that's the key. But apart from that, also you need to do a market research of your product as well, see how it's going to work, test and try. So a lot of other things that also go out to be when you're starting out. But don't be afraid, and don't think and don't doubt yourself. If you're confident, if you are very very sure of the product or the idea or the brand that you've produced or launching out, then don't be afraid, and don't think that nahi chalega, people will not like it, there's no point. Don't think twice. If you know that it can work, put it out there and see how people respond. You never know what could work and what could not work. So definitely give it a try.
So, ma'am, as a majority of people do get ideas and they are innovative also, they might even work wonders, but they are not able to start their businesses, right? So, would you say is the first step in turning your ideas into a legitimate business or startup?
So I think converting your idea to a business, I think the first step would be putting that product out. If it's a product, then put it out. And if it's a brand or maybe a service that you're providing, then maybe reach out to a client, give the service to them for free, analyze, understand how it works for you, if it's working, if people are satisfied with the product. So you have to test and try, and once you're starting that, I think initially you have to test and try a lot of things just to come at a conclusion if it's working out or if it's not working out, right? So I think the push should be to try and to go out in the market and explore. But I know that requires a lot of confidence, and a lot of you might not be that confident to have that kind of push. But I would definitely request you all that don't be afraid. Honestly, I didn't know if it was gonna work out, right? So you have to give it a try, man. What if it works out? What if it happens for you? What if you are the next Shark Tank India contestant, right? So give it a try, and I want to see half of you at Shark Tank India season 2 next year. So you definitely must do something that is world changing.
That's great, ma'am. I'm like, we are truly motivated right now. Yeah, ma'am, please go on.
We just love the sleeves that you put on.
Actually, yeah.
Actually launching today, so I'm here to promote it.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram stories as well. So like whenever you go out for dinners or with your friends to hang out, do you like keep promoting your sleeves?
I actually I didn't used to do that a lot before. I used to, but not that much. But now I have to do it. So like
Definitely.
I'm doing it on a daily basis.
We love the product. They are literally stunning.
Thank you.
So finally, what have you enjoyed most about starting your own company?
So I think starting your own company, it requires a sense of responsibility. And if it's a new product, you need to be, very, very thorough with all the research as well. And I think what I've enjoyed most, like I mentioned, would be changing people's lives and watching people, explore their creativity with the product. I think there is nothing beyond that. And at the end of the day, it's you're serving your customers, and if your customers are happy, that is what keeps you going, right? So I think I've enjoyed changing people's lives, and honestly, I've gotten feedbacks from customers saying that I am a little healthy and I want to cover my arms, and this product has really changed my life. So these kind of motivational messages also keeps you going, because you know that you're doing the right thing. So if I wasn't doing the right thing, maybe I wouldn't have been receiving these kind of messages. But now that I am, I know that there is something good about the product and what I'm catering. So that's a good thing. And I see people creating 10 outfits with just one sleeves, and I'm so amazed, and I'm just like, wow, yeah, like I mean, I honestly try to do that myself. I see a lot of people styling it in different ways, and then the next time I go out, I was like, okay, now I'll wear it like Komal Pandey, now I'll wear it like Nikki Mehra. So that's the kind of creativity that also happens. And I also get to learn a lot from my customers and influencers that specifically, style my product.
Right. All right, guys, I'd like to give a quick reminder to everyone to please fill the feedback form that will be available in the chat box shortly. And with that, I'd like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Ria Khattar for taking the time to be here and providing us with the relevant insights, and to the attendees for your presence and contribution to make this seminar a great success. Ma'am, truly, this was a very fun, insightful, knowledgeable conversation, and we're very grateful to have had you here with us.
Thank you so much.
I'd also like to thank our principal, Professor Krishna Sharma, Bursar Shri Surender Sir, IQAC Coordinator, Ms. Anu Kapoor, Convener, Dr. Rajni Jakota, Co-convener, Dr. Urvashi Sabu, and other faculty mentors, Ms. Anandita Goldar, Dr. Bhavna Kohli, and Ms. Megha Mandal. Thank you all so much for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It was great talking to all of you.